You can't win them all, and the Twins won't. Sonny Gray shoved for about 4 innings. Pablo made some mistakes that you probably didn't like. Harrison Bader looks like the best free agent signing ever after one game. It's not a win, but how bad should you feel? Just to be safe, you better get Locked On Twins.
You are Locked On Twins, your daily Minnesota Twins podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Well, hello again, everybody, and welcome back to Locked On Twins, your daily go-to source for the top Minnesota Twins insight, discourse, and analysis. Personally, it's my favorite show of the Imperial Locked On Podcast Network, which, by the way, brings you your team every day. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe where applicable when you're not doing this because the Twins lost. I'm Dave Brown, an MLB writer since way before Twins TV was showing everyone Guardians highlights. I'm also a BBWA member and a Hall of Fame voter. I'm also live or half alive in a stairwell in St. Louis, Busch Stadium to be exact. Across the Great Plains of cyberspace is Brandon Warren, who watched the Twins lose on Twins TV. Or did he? I heard about some problems. Brandon was a Twins fan, and then he became a Twins writer, and now he's both. And I'm just going to leave it there. On the podcast today, it was a dark and stormy afternoon, and after a rain delay, the Twins fell 5-3. I believe that was the final score, right?
Yes.
To the Cardinals, Sonny Gray, nice free agent walk, Falvey. So we'll cover opening day. I was here at Busch Stadium, as I mentioned, but you all saw what the Twins did. I'll try and talk you down, even though you won't listen, figuratively, I hope. Pablo looked like he was making some rookie mistakes out there. That's not great. But at least the mistakes mostly were like fielding his position. Does that make it better? Harrison Bader can't play the Cardinals every day, but he's 2 for 4 against them so far in 2025, including a 2-run dong and a double that kept the away team alive for one more batter. The home run helped to spark a comeback after the Twins got down 4 pretty early. And then leadoff man Matt Wallner came up as the tying run in the ninth inning after Bader doubled against Cards closer Ryan Helsley. But it was hell's bells from there. Curses. Wallner struck out and the game was over, and the Twins are 0-1. Brandon, were you able to see all the game on Twins TV, first of all?
Yes, actually, I streamed it through my PS5, and I never lost connection at all. I was connected from the very
you're the
beginning.
one.
Yep, I'm the one. So I saw the initial pregame, and then when they decided or became aware that they were not going to start on time, they threw it to a studio show, I think, on MLB Network or something to that effect, and then brought it back about 45 minutes before first pitch to watch some traffic jam on the infield. I don't know.
Yeah, they introduced the Cardinals players. First they brought out the old timers in pickup trucks and convertibles, and Ozzie Smith was there. It was great. And then they did it for the entire team. And I joked. Somebody asked, is this is what they do on opening day, huh? And I'm like, this is how they introduce the Cardinals every day. It's absolutely maddening. That's not true though. It is just for today. So I thought it was a good thing that someone was driving Tony La Russa. So that was good. I mean, that could have been worse. I saw a couple of Twins fans on Twitter, go, well, that's a little much, but it's the Cardinals and they have their traditions and, so much for that. Now the game. Pablo Lopez looked actually kind of like he did in spring training when he said there was nothing to worry about. And I guess I'm still not worried, but he left some 2-strike pitches hittable. Now, Ryan Jeffers actually had some funny quotes about that. Jeffers talked to reporters after the game and said that the Cardinals are built to get lucky because they BABIP hit balls in play all the time. They don't strike out. They walk a decent amount, but usually they just put out of the ball and put themselves in position to be lucky. And I don't even know. I meant to look this up. What was do you know what their expected batting average was? It was pretty high for a while.
Are we talking about the Ethics Bowl again?
Yes, but the Cardinals also won the regular bowl too.
Well, yeah, I mean, semantics really. Let's see here. Ethics Bowl, 264 for the Cardinals, 230 for the Twins. But there is the, what is it, MLB Luck-O-meter or whatever. that Cy Louis shares that said that the Twins
Is
lost,
that real?
but I don't know. But the Cardinals were luck merchants, and whatever. I don't know. I'm not.
So
I'm
is
not.
Cy Louis Ryan Jeffers?
Wouldn't that be the ultimate, like, pulling back the curtain and it's Mr. Withers from the amusement park on Wayne's World or something, like
Would have gotten away with it.
If it wasn't for those meddling primes. Yeah, I have to ask you though, like, do you think that Jeffers quote is something that people are going to be taking out of context?
Well, out of context, in context, as I was listening to it, I'm thinking, well, this is going to ruffle some feathers. Here's what he said. I have it word for word. This team, meaning the Cardinals, is like built to do what they did today. They're a good team, but they're built to get lucky. They don't strike out. They walk an easy amount. They built, for lack of a better term, they're built to get lucky. And that's what they did today. It was kind of Pablo's luck this spring. He's been throwing the ball well, but he's been getting babbipped, as Jeffers put it. Sometimes I pronounce that babip. And today was no different, Jeffers said.
So when you heard it live, were you just thinking like, yeah, this is not going to be well received? Like, or were you just, I guess I'm hearing it and I'm hearing how I think it's going to be framed as someone who's been a observer of Twins Twitter now since the advent of the platform. But it doesn't seem like he's really taking a shot or anything like that.
No.
And I think that's going to be how it's perceived. Now, if this was against the Guardians, we'd have bulletin board material just due to the fan base distaste for each other online. But I still feel like, yeah, this is not exactly like Royce Lewis, I don't slump, or the conversation in the Bronx where he's like talking about how Twins weren't going to let the Guardians back into it or whatever. But I still feel like this could come up again.
Yeah, it will. And I think that it isn't necessarily an accident. I don't think he cares in a way that's going to bother him, that it might. I think here's what's going to happen though. That could be bulletin board material for the Cardinals. They'll look at that, and nobody likes to be called lucky, and players don't really even like when you say that they're unlucky. So, but they also are conscious of things that they can't control. They mention that all the time. Yeah. And that's sort of what Jeffers is. It's one of the things that Jeffers is talking about there, that, maybe Pablo didn't give up. He did give up some loud outs too. So like Pablo, did not pitch great. It did kind of look like spring training a little bit when he said, I wasn't trying to go for those kill shots with 2 strikes. I'm sure he was today, but the issue that I had with Pablo more was the fielding. It looked like he got caught late on a couple of steal attempts, and he balked one, and he threw another one away for an error. I think the error might have been a little presumptuous, but I think like if he makes just a bad throw that isn't like so wide of Carlos Correa that he's like not diving for it, I don't know that they would have given him an error on that. They might have given the dude a stolen base, Walker, I believe. And he almost threw another ball away on a bunt that was picked, thankfully, by Ty France, who had a really good game. I heard you
asking Rocco about that.
Yeah, France, not to get off subject, but that's what we do here. France saved their bacon a few times. It could have been a bigger lead.
At least twice, yeah.
It could have been a bigger lead to try and surmount. But he was, I don't know about his range. There was one ball hit up the first base line that I was thinking, would Carlos Santana have gotten that? But
Corey mentioned that he thinks he was already going to the bag there.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Right. Can I ask you one thing?
Absolutely not. Of course. Sure.
What do you make of Jeffers saying things about Pablo when he gave up 7 batted balls over 100 miles per hour? The double that he allowed, single to Walker. I thought it was going to be a double, but Harrison Bader, who actually hasn't played as much left field at Busch Stadium as people seem to think, played it really well. That batted ball was 116.5 miles per hour. That is the second hardest batted ball that Pablo has allowed in his entire career.
Right. And also, he, as Aaron Gleeman pointed out on Twitter, gave up on a changeup, a home run. And he gave up one home run all year on like 599, I want to say, changeups.
Randy Arozarena.
And it was the ugliest pitch he's ever thrown in his life. It was, I think, it was in the fish tank last year. Yeah, I don't remember, but it was just a center cut, awful pitch. The pitch that he gave up the home run today, that Nootbaar got, was, I mean, not almost in the dirt, but it was really low. It was a
lefty special, because Perkins and Morneau were both talking about how, like,
when you throw changeups to lefties
low, they're
right-handed.
Yeah, they're gonna scoop it like Ty France and hit it out of the park, or hit it.
That is exactly the word that Pablo used to describe it. He gave him credit for scooping it. That's funny. So
yeah, as a left-handed hitter, I kind of like, again, not that I'm ever equating my playing experience to anything a big leaguer does, but the physics and the mental aspect of it makes sense to me. If you leave me something low and slow, I get time to get out, but underneath and kind of lift it, and that's exactly what happened. I mean, he smoked it and knew it from the moment he dropped the bat, and the Twins were 3-49 last year when they trailed by at least 4 runs at any point in the game, and they very nearly came back to win this one, or at least they were in the conversation.
They did not hit well with runners in scoring position overall.
One for 8, I think.
Yeah.
Stranded, the bases loaded. There were different aspects that are frustrating. I mean, one game, and a lot of it's that's baseball, Susan. Just things that happen in baseball games. I'll be honest with you. Actually, you know what? I want to bring up something when we come out of the break, because my mental health was a lot better during this game, believe it or not.
Interesting. All right, we'll hear about that in a second.
You got it. Well, let's give some love to our friends over at PrizePicks, back at it again with us. Baseball season is in full swing, and there's no better way to get in on the action than with PrizePicks, the best place for DFS. That's daily fantasy sports. And with PrizePicks, you pick more or less on at least 2 player stat projections. And if you're right, you can win up to 1,000 times your cash, whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, RBI. I don't know how you say it. What do you say?
RBIs. Dave? I say RBIs. I say RBI and then put a little S at the end. RBIs. Yep. It's like a word.
I think that's
a long word.
Or first inning runs. PrizePicks keeps every game exciting. If you want to build your lineup, you can go in there, and they've got Aaron Judge for more than a home run, or Shohei Ohtani for more than a stolen base. It's those kind of things. So you just kind of get your gut feelings, or if you want to look at some data to back it up, you got a lot of options. Setting a lineup takes less than a minute. When you win, your payout is quick, safe, and secure. And for me, I always take advantage of Taco Tuesday, where PrizePicks offers discounts on select player projections for even more value. And again, you basically play to your risk tolerance, and that's where the multipliers come into play. However, download the app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB, and you will get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. You don't even got to win. $5 lineup, your first $5 lineup, $50 instantly. That's code LOCKEDONMLB for $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. And of course, we got to give some respect and love to Supply House. If you're in the skilled trades, Supply House is the place to go. Get the supplies you need from the site made for the skilled trades, Supply House. Whether you are in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from over 400-plus top brands, you'll find exactly what you need delivered fast from coast to coast. If you need help with an order, you get a human every single time. Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service. Again, you are going to talk to a real person every single time. And if you're a trade pro looking for an extra edge, they have a free program called the Trade Master Program, which offers exclusive perks, a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled pros are already taking advantage. Now it's your turn. Join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, use promo code SH5 at Sterling Hitchcock 5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. Now, Dave,
Hey, Brandon, before you talk about your feelings.
Sure.
I wanted, that's not all that Jeffers had to talk about. He was
nice.
he was a quote machine. And I want to get these in, and then this one in, and then I'll throw it back to you. So the question was posed, Dan Hayes of The Athletic asked, so it was like Sonny shoving for 3 or 4 innings, what was going on there? Sonny Gray. And Jeffers is like, I'm going around the room, I think he means the clubhouse, talking to our hitters. And I think all of us felt great. We all also saw it for 2 years when Sonny was here with the Twins. Like when he's painting like that, nobody hits him. He gets hit when he's not painting that edge. He was super crisp. And are you frustrated? Because it's just one game, but they all talked up about how we're doing the process different. We're going to get off to a good start. They can still get off to a good start. It's just not 1-0. Okay. So Jeffers goes, no, not frustrated. Yeah, it sucks. You don't want to get BABIP'd like that, but it's not like they were whack, whack, whack all over the ballpark. They snuck the ball through. We're out of 2 of those innings if we execute a PF. He's going to say PFP, so he's talking about Pablo's defense. If we execute the step off, Pablo would tell you first thing, he's got to execute those. You can't balk on the one, and we got to execute on the throw on the other one. Those change the complexion of the entire game. Yeah, I don't think we feel sorry for ourselves or frustrated at all. So he was. You asked, what was he saying about Pablo when there was some evidence that Pablo was giving up more hard hit balls than Jeffers was alluding to, and he was sticking up for him there, but he wasn't sticking up for his defense. He did not have an excuse for that.
Well, and I thought Sonny front doored the 2-seamer a couple times pretty well, and the home plate umpire, he did struggle east-west a little bit. Like I haven't gone back and looked, and I'm sure the umpire grade book or whatever will be posted in the morning, and maybe I'm wrong, but I felt like the biggest issues were east-west, off the plate in different spots, but up-down was better. Again, maybe just what I thought I saw, but in general, Sonny hit his spots. I mean, if you want to talk about Pablo and his start being a possible extension of spring, you also have to consider that Sonny was, I don't know if his numbers were worse than Pablo. I definitely know that based on everything I read, it sounded like it was worse, and it was basically a distant memory. He couldn't have been further from West Palm Beach in St. Louis and all that performance stuff, because
Sonny himself said that his velocity in spring training, even before the end, was not where he wanted it, that he wasn't like worried about it, but that he was acknowledging that it wasn't there. And then he got sick at the end of camp, and it was kind of touch and go whether he would make this start or not. So he'd been working out at Busch in the days before today and showed, kind of like the Twins guys, Mickey Gasper and Topa and so forth, putting on the full court press at the end to show that he's able to do it. And he was for 5 innings. So, but Brandon, you said before that you felt a little differently about this game than you did maybe last year when we would see a game like this go by.
Well, and so with the role that I have taken on where I'm doing support for twins.tv, like I'm so like focused on the play-by-play and everything that's happening and trying to look ahead. I think I sent 1 tweet during the game, and I think I read 0 tweets. And honestly, I came away thinking, tough game. Back at it on Saturday. And it was just like, that there's a lot of like, and I do follow some people who think it's funny to say, oh, they're down 2-1. This one's over. I think that holds more influence in my brain than I ever realized, because I came out of this one feeling fresh as a daisy, understanding that this is 101-62. And then I went and looked at Twitter and I was like, holy smokes, this place got, looks like it's bombed
Is that
out.
Donald Glover where he comes home with a pizza and the apartment's on fire?
Yes, that's
yeah.
Community when they have like it's a whole bunch of different versions of the same scene, and so they keep replaying it, and that's one of them. Yeah.
Well, I think how this game looked, like if we had seen it in the middle of the season rather than the first game of the season, I think maybe more people would have had a reaction closer to what you did. It's just that, like I said, the Twins were, and what else are they going to do? They were building up how their process was going to be different. They're going to be more team oriented, and we're going to get off to a good start. And I'm kind of repeating myself now. They still can, because it is, like you said, only one game. So this is not the end of the world. I've had some thoughts about what Pablo might be thinking about, himself. He got off to a bad start last year and maybe the year before too. And last year was really bad. I think his ERA was in the 5s. And then the second half, he was better. And I just, living up to being the ace, and it doesn't seem like that kind of stuff bothers him. He's, as prepared as anybody. It's just that his results just looked a lot like spring training and a lot like they did before in the first half last year. So I don't know. I'm not worried, but I wasn't impressed.
Yeah, I mean, it's tricky because ace at the end of the year versus ace in season can look different.
Sure.
Your number one guy day to day, you want him to be a stopper if you have a 3-game losing streak, that sort of thing. But at the end of the year, like, there's a reason why guys like Tariq Skubal are, 2 wins better than him in WAR. And, none of that matters come playoff time when you're facing each other one-on-one and that sort of thing. But I think we do maybe have to kind of redefine the idea of an ace, because it, the way we see the game is different nowadays. And I think that you can have like the extremely good top tier guys who in 30 whatever starts maybe only have 3, 4, 5 duds all year long. And then you get the guy like Lopez who might be a half and half. One half is great, one half is he looks like a 3. There's just different types. And so like that's why I think too the definition of ace is so nebulous, is because the path to getting where you get at the end of the year can vary so much.
Speaking of path to the end, we're going to take our second break. There's a second break, right, Brandon?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we're going to take it now.
And we're going to talk about wonderful pistachios, because I know I'm looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious. I think you probably are too, Dave.
I'm looking for something.
Yeah, right. That press box popcorn. I know that was a vice for a lot of people at Target Field. And
hot pretzel too.
What's that?
Hot pretzel too.
Yeah, that's tough. Well, you can crack into a good source of protein with wonderful pistachios. If I'm doing mindless snacking, whether I'm sitting at a desk or watching a movie or just trying to kind of calm down before bed watching my Seinfeld, pistachios are the way to go. Wonderful pistachios are one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, which gives you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats, which help keep you feeling fuller longer. So I like the shell variety, the ones that have not been shelled. It allows me to kind of like put a governor on my consumption. It slows me down. It makes me take my time when eating the pistachios. And overeating pistachios, there's worse things you can overeat, but I like that added bit of accountability. But if you don't, and you just want to dive right into some no shell variety pistachios, they've got those too. And let me tell you, those are also delicious. They're amazing. They're healthy. And we keep them on the bedside table for a little snack before bed. And I'll be honest with you, sure beats eating some something greasy or something else before bed. You wake up and you don't have heartburn. You don't have all that stuff. It's just wonderful. And the satisfying crack of opening each shell is like snack meditation. I love that line. Get snackin' and get crackin' with the snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more.
Home stretch of Game 1 review. The Twins are 0-1 in 2025. I want to just talk about a few things just to get them on the record. Matt Wallner led off just like he was in spring training. And so it was like Santa. Santa's real. Matt Wallner's really leading off. And he did not. He drew a walk. He worked some counts. He jumped on Sonny Gray's first pitch of the game. I see what he's trying to do there.
Yep.
Flied out, didn't really get it all. Struck out at the end against Helsley in a tough situation. Helsley threw him. It was a really nasty breaking ball.
Yeah, was he as nasty as he looked on TV? Because he looked disgusting.
It was. Helsley, yeah, that's sort of like when Duran is really on with his breaking pitch. And
and they kept talking about what kind of trade chip he could be for the Cardinals this season. Again, assuming things go as maybe people assume they will, which is,
right.
The Cardinals might be just kind of average, and then they decide to kind of flip some of their older talent and get some prospects and, retool a little bit. I don't think they're going to outright bottom out because they have too much talent to do that. But
Victor Scott, the rookie, had a really good game on defense. He robbed.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know if he can hit it
twice.
all. I don't know if he can hit it all, but he made a couple plays that if he doesn't make one or the other, we might be talking about a completely different result. That Ty France one, was that the first one?
There was two Ty Frances. It was two. He robbed him twice. The second one actually had a higher hit probability than the first, even though I think the first one was a better catch.
He looked like the extension and everything on that first one was more complicated. It was tougher.
Right. So, but just those were plays of the game just as much as any that were made, not made by Pablo or whatever, as far as soft contact with the Cardinals. And
it kind of feels though like, do you remember anything Byron Buxton did in this game?
Yeah. He had a couple of he did, although I liked, it's funny, Byron is not known for walking, and he didn't, but he did work some counts a couple times and was clearly not just going up there hacking. So he looked like he had a plan.
After the first time when he went up there hacking.
I mean, in the grand scheme of things.
No, but we learn and we adjust, and that's exactly what he did.
France was good, really good on both sides of the ball. So it was a continuation of spring training.
Yep.
And Bader is, it looks like maybe he's played himself into at least one more start. And you can tell he's a little off-put by the whole hitting lefties and righties kind of thing, that, he's only here to be a platoon player against lefties. And he's got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder about that, I think. I mean, subtle, and not trying to come off like that.
Healthy motivation rather than.
Yeah, I would say. And he finished last year. He played over 140 games in center field, and he was proud of that and thought that was progress for his career. Where have we heard that before? That, if only this guy could play 140 or 50 games.
Right.
So, he likes that situation. And likes being here, and the Cardinals fans really like him. They gave him a standing O, and they gave a curtain call to Nolan Arenado, and
they didn't boo any Twins, not Carlos Correa. I thought that's
a good point.
I thought the Cardinals fan base was very, very respectable. Is not what I usually think of that fan base. So it
was maybe because it was an opening day crowd. I thought they weren't as loud as I was expecting, like especially during the intro of the old timers. They gave a really, I think Scott Rowland got like the third best hand after LaRussa and Ozzie Smith.
Someone in the Twins dugout was making fun of Rowland for being bald, I think.
Who was?
Because someone went like this to him, and I think it's because Rowland's balding, significantly.
He kind of was. He sort of was when he was still playing too.
But so I think one of the guys in the and he was pointing at him and said, "It was kind of funny."
Rowland, what a great player, and Jim Edmonds, who people make fun of for good reasons.
Yes,
was there.
He's kind of a schmo.
Yeah, but I mean, he wasn't tonight, but in life
that we know of. Yeah, no, we know. And there was that stat where it was like the Cardinals went 100 years without having a future Hall of Famer on their roster at any given moment. Like what a special way to bring back some of the legends. I mean, say what you will about Tony La Russa, and you'd probably be right. But like even Adam Wainwright, who I don't remember if we saw or not. Matt Morris, I know we did, but
we saw Matt, the newest member of their Hall of Fame. Matt Morris.
He's looking pretty handsome too. The Cardinals, though, like a storied history, a fan base that understands, or at least understands being a fan. If you're going to be a fan, you're going to be a fanatic.
Right.
They really commit to that bit, good, bad, or otherwise. And hats off to them.
What else did I see tonight? Nice defense by Brendan Donovan at second base. A really good flip after a good play. Right? Yeah, he did. And he was good. He was good there. We mentioned Victor Scott. Jordan Walker got on base a couple times. So maybe the Cardinals have a little bit more there than people thought. I don't think anybody is going to run away with the NL Central. So I'm still circumspect, but we'll see what they got. And on the Twins side, Jax left a fastball up. Although fastball's up, I guess sometimes that's what you want. You don't want the breaking pitches up, but at the top of the zone, and Arenado hit it pretty good. So that
still
didn't help.
Hitter.
He's still a good hitter, and Jax was really mad at himself and didn't get a chance to talk to him or anything. It's not anything that was urgent. So, but Lou Varland came in. I don't know if it's high leverage or not when you're losing by a run. I think it is.
Technically, I don't think it is.
It really? That's funny. See, I don't agree with that. Anyway, he kept the score where it was. The bullpen was doing a good job of that until the end. So,
yep.
All right, we could keep talking, but then
should I give some love to Locked On previews?
I think maybe somebody should.
Thank you for making Locked On your first listen today, and for your second listen, check out our season previews, every contender, every division, everything you need to know. All 6 episodes on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts.
Can see you tomorrow night.
Or Saturday at least.
All right. We're going over.